2 weeks since the start of free agency, over $1 billion drawn just the first hour, the improbable Fred VanVleet getting over 40 mil each of the next 3 seasons. If there was any big name guy not signed yet, many would have predicted the controversial Dillon Brooks, the most hated role player in the game, not only stunned critics, but signed a whopping 4-year $86 million, a lot more than anticipated. Just like in previous years, guys like Carmelo Anthony and Lance Stevenson back in 2019 still viewed as talented players who received the bad rap nobody wanted, but once Melo finally got a chance with the Blazers, he delivered. Many of the big name free agents in the game today have strong reasons to believe they could be getting blackballed by the association. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. The real reasons why these big name guys not signed yet, starting with Christian Wood, most recently with the Dallas Mavericks, viewed as Kristaps Porzingis' replacement. The journeyman, 7 seasons on 7 different teams, will turn 28 next season. The true definition of empty stats on a terrible team. His upbringing to the league after undrafted, still a remarkable story, no doubt. But when you're in the league for a long time now, it's time to truly deliver. A one-dimensional player signed 3 years $41 mil back in 2020 after balling out for the terrible Pistons. Averaged 21 a game on empty calories with the 17 and 55 Rockets, but Houston literally got rid of him for random players, going to a team coming off a conference finals appearance to not even make the playoffs with him. Coming off the bench, Coach J. Kidd could not stand him, and the horrendous defense, a bad reputation for having an attitude, but Wood himself thinks he's a true star and hasn't proven that when he's surrounded by better players, talented enough to put up numbers. A lot of guys can put up stats in the NBA, very bad at running plays, streaky offense, doesn't listen to his team and coaches when running plays, no quickness to guard force out the perimeter, not a great rebounder, despite being 6'10", his D's so bad, sometimes you can't tell the difference between him and Enes Kanter on the floor. Kanter actually played meaningful playoff minutes, having a horrendous 102 and 187 career record, winning just 35% of his games, an absolute travesty! Yes, Wood might be more talented than over half the league, but if you can't listen and develop good chemistry, the league will see that. Freelancing and going against the playbook on both ends, you don't last long in the league being undisciplined unless you're a top 10 talent, which Wood isn't. Attitude similar to Hassan Whiteside after he got his money. A productive fantasy king, bad IQ, being a selfish player and playing no D, a terrible screen setter. Despite having the athleticism, if he struggles to find a team, now either on a minimum, this could honestly be his last chance to prove he can be a viable teammate. Truly the worst type of player to match up with defensive-minded Coach J. Kidd. It's one thing to hide your point guards on defense, but you simply cannot hide a terrible big man on D and expect guys to cover up for him, especially if your guards don't play any D in the first place. One thing for certain, the Dallas Mavericks simply won't miss him. Kelly Oubre Jr., 8 seasons in, we all know what he's already made of. Very good numbers on a bad team. Look no further than last season. Career best 20.3 points, 32 minutes, but it's not an accident. Golden State way better after getting rid of him. Didn't elevate the team, failed to make the playoffs, only made it with the Wizards his 2nd and 3rd season. A career record 246 and 281 overall. The 27-year-old already a finished product, just like Wood, not a team player. It's an absolute travesty. Oubre averages 1 assist per game on the dot. Both him and C. Wood think highly of themselves, frustrating many nights. Paying him, you know he will go 2 of 8 from 3, have 2 sick dunks, making you think he's one of the best athletes in the league, and a little model shimmy celebration. Not good enough on D to draw attention, not good off the ball, loses focus when opponents move around, getting open threes or cutting to the rim. Watching Oubre play feels like a kid in his own backyard pretending to be Michael Jordan, but a way better player to have in my opinion over Wood. Could still be a nice piece off the bench, the most inconsistent 20-point a game scorer, not the best speedball IQ, would be a disruptor to any contending team and be unhappy if forced to play under 15 minutes some nights, already given the chance to be on Golden State and not working out, a strong distaste to the other teams around the league. His skill set doesn't complement with any superstar. His style 99% more on individual qualities than team oriented. John Wall, his career after the Achilles, tragic. pick. A whooping 74 total games each of the last 4 seasons. When he's not getting time with the worst team in the league, that's already a bad rap. Waived by the Rockets after a disaster of a tenure with the Clippers, hasn't adapted as a role player, takes too many long twos, going against the game plan, yelling "I'm back" after dominating a pickup game last summer. He's gonna need more of that. Under a 50% true shooting with the Clips, not even a top 3 option. Still has the physical tools, but couldn't focus on being pass first and on defense. From being a top 5 point guard in the league to getting DMPs and possibly out the league for good, reminds me of Deron Williams 2.0, a cruel league out there for some, going on a podcast throwing shade at former teammate Justin Patton and shit-talking the Rockets only to get sent there and released, shot the Clips out of too many games, his game predicated on too much athleticism, didn't develop a 3-point shot before the injuries. If he was a good locker room guy, the Rockets or Clippers would have kept him with all the respect. His career left a lot to be desired if this is in fact the end. Underwhelming given the hype as a former number 1 pick. If he gets picked up, needs to be ready to become a 9 to 12 option and be okay with some DMPs. PJ Washington, already heading into year 5, the 24-year-old inserted to the lineup after Miles Bridges' off-court altercation. Started all 73 games, numbers of under 16 and 5, but shot under 45% from the field. Nothing more than a rotational piece, can't create by himself at a high level, erratic shot making, seeking for a deal that will pay him 18 mil next 4 years. Charlotte can easily match, but the team under new ownership might have other bigger name players in their mind, might just accept Charlotte's $8.5 million qualifying offer if no noise and become unrestricted next year. Already been in trade talks. Deep down, Hornets knowing Bridges the better player over PJ, don't want to pay both, and 4 years 80 mil could be a little too much given Washington's not a top 3 option. Bol Bol, many teams saying no. His size and frame draw similarities to Wemby and Chet Holmgren. Bol considered a poor man's version of both. His skill set doesn't come around often. Being 7'2", can shoot threes, take 2 dribbles from half court and draw it down, block shots easily, and create a little bit, but getting waived by Orlando after an okay 9-6 stat line, started off hot but cooled off after the injuries, almost out the league after Denver didn't want him. Front runners to sign with Phoenix but not official, still not reliable enough to start, too fragile to play center, struggles on D, falls for the pump fake too easily, undisciplined, outside of a few monster blocks, doesn't have the best work ethic. Not an accident, he fell down to the 44 pick, hasn't shown to be worthy of quality minutes on a contender, has the skills, but a bad team player on both ends. Shooting 26% from 3 simply won't cut it. If he does sign with Phoenix, Frank Vogel the perfect coach to have him play D as a backup, him not responding well to Mike Malone's toughness, being detached, a terrible first impression. Getting waived by a non-playoff team, another bad impression. One more strike, could be out the league in less than 2 years, and nobody will feel bad for his missed opportunities. TJ Wharton, the biggest bubble one-hit wonder, has been an absolute travesty since. 8.2 points, 46 games after Disney, and still just 29, never been able to stay healthy, ruined his momentum, barely played under Monty Williams' system, his offensive game doesn't fit most teams, those Pacers were mid to be honest, and he got hot on an empty stats game style, not great on D, picks up many fouls, absolutely nothing more than a vet minimum now. Terrence Ross, also not brought back yet. The 32-year-old wasn't spectacular last season, even struggled with the Magic, off the bench, takes a lot of bad shots, too streaky to depend on. When his feet's not set, you know he'll miss badly. Lackluster in the playoffs, giving Phoenix close to no production. Kendrick Nunn, taking less money, trying to finesse his way to a ring 2 years ago, an absolute travesty with the Lakers. Ended up playing none games his first full season with injury. Team simply signed too many point guards, 39 total games with LA, couldn't shoot, not what the team was looking for, got rid of him for the better Rui Hachimura. The soon-to-be 28-year-old could have had twice the amount of money instead, not being wanted 2 years after. That bone bruise more severe than anticipated, an absolute total disaster after being rookie runner-up, will likely get signed to a minimum and not get picked up until an injury happens. Honorable mentions include Jalen Noel, Bismack Biyombo, his good attitude attitude, the only reason why he still played with the Suns last season. Goran Dragic, super old, wants to return to South Beach. Derrick Jones Jr., lacks shooting, declining his $3.3 million option, won't get much higher than that. Austin Rivers, I predict, signs with a team like Memphis as a vet presence. Bulls Ayo Dosunmu, no agreement, might be forced to take the qualifying offer. Chicago might lose him for nothing. The franchise couldn't be more incompetent. Justice Winslow, how many chances he's gonna get? Which one of these big name free agents shocks you most they're not signed yet? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.